When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The Box of Oddities.
What a perfect way to start the podcast.
Wow.
We're in the middle of a thunderstorm.
It is intense.
It's really coming down.
Sure is. I was on Facebook, Instagram, I don't remember, not long ago, and From Beneath the Hollywood Sign, one of our sister podcasts, was talking about celebrity couples.
Oh, yes, yeah.
From the golden age of Hollywood, you know. And I had commented that I think that the ultimate celeb couple, the most beautiful couple to have ever existed, was Robert Stack and Rosemary Stack.
You have always had a thing for Robert Stack.
He's beautiful. And his lady, she was an incredible actress and absolutely gorgeous. And Steve Cubine, one of the hosts of From Beneath the Hollywood Sign, was all like, oh yeah, they were great people. I got to know them.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing you're dealing with this podcast. They are like professional types.
Yeah, right in the heart of Hollywood. And the name From Beneath the Hollywood Sign references Steve Cubine's house, which is literally right beneath the Hollywood sign.
He knew Robert Stack.
You're 1 degree of separation.
Oh my God.
From one of your idols.
Unbelievable. Anyway, find From Beneath the Hollywood Sign wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
They do a great job.
Stories from the golden age of Hollywood.
I've got a story from the golden age of the mid-1800s.
Amazing.
Yeah. There was a moment in American history when a group of otherwise serious people gathered around a strange machine. It was made out of magnets and copper and zinc, wires, polished metals. And they waited for it to be born. Not switched on, born. To make this scene even a little more surreal, one woman lay beside it, breathing through what witnesses described as labor pains. Other believers stood by in solemn anticipation, convinced they were participating in one of the most important events in human history.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, they thought if everything went according to plan, this collection of electrical parts would awaken, not as a machine, but as a living being destined to transform civilization itself. Basically, they were trying to build a Jesus machine.
Like a robot?
Not a robot in the sense that it had arms and legs and stuff like that, but yeah, something that would, I guess, today be referred to as artificial intelligence or a bot of some sort.
So no arms and legs. What was the shape? Was it shaped like anything? Was it just an egg shape?
No, it was just a box.
Hot dog shape?
Kind of a box. And it sounds like science fiction, written a century too early, but this really happened. Okay, to understand how anyone would arrive at this point, you have to kind of spend a little time in the America of the mid-19th century. That was a period of time overflowing with invention and religious experimentation.
Right, spirituality was huge.
That's exactly right.
Or spiritualism, I guess, was the term then.
That's exactly right. Beginning with the famous Fox sisters in 1848, millions of people became convinced that the dead could communicate with the living through knocks and trances and automatic writing, mediums. This wasn't necessarily viewed as irrational at the time. Many educated people, including respected scientists and reformers, took at least some of these claims seriously. The boundary between seance, religion, and the supernatural wasn't nearly as rigid as it is today. This was a time when electricity was really first being utilized for consumer application.
There was a house that I was looking at a couple of days ago that was built in the 1800s. Absolutely gorgeous house. And you immediately poo-pooed it. And you were like, nope, that house has absolutely been a funeral home. And there was a table set up that you could tell was a seance table. And you were like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, well, it was a funeral home for decades. And it was 6,000 square feet. I ain't vacuuming that.
The puppies need room to run.
Anyway, back to the story. It was a time when telegraph wires suddenly allowed messages to travel faster than any horse could carry messages.
So why not messages from beyond?
Exactly. And electricity being not really totally understood and probably seeming like parlor magic, they thought maybe electricity was the answer to communicating with the spirit world. And that's where John Murray Spear enters the story. Spear had already lived several lives before becoming spiritualism's most unusual figure. He was born in 1804. He began as a Universalist minister before becoming deeply involved in abolitionism, prison reform, social justice. By most accounts, he genuinely cared about improving society. He worked alongside prominent reformers and advocated for marginalized people long before their causes were politically comfortable. Then in the 1850s, he became convinced that spirits had begun speaking directly through him, and not just ordinary spirits either. He claimed he was receiving messages from an assembly of famous historical figures he called the Association of Electrizers.
Was that an LLC or...
I'm not sure. According to him, these included the spirits of Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, John Quincy Adams, and other great minds who had continued their work after death. From the spirit world, they allegedly wished to guide humanity to a new technological and moral age. And it's difficult not to kind of laugh at the image of Ben Franklin conducting engineering meetings in the afterlife, but here we are.
I don't know. I can't help but picture him nude.
Sitting in a window, taking an air bath.
You know it.
Spear and his followers accepted these communications completely. To them, it wasn't fantasy, it was a revelation. The spirit eventually delivered increasingly detailed instructions for an extraordinary project. They wanted Spear to build a new kind of machine. He called it the new motive power.
Motive or mode of?
Motive.
Okay.
Descriptions vary because no complete blueprints ever survived, but contemporary accounts described it as elaborately assembled magnets, metal plates, electrical components, wire coils, batteries.
And magnets, how do they work?
The carefully arranged mechanical parts. Every piece supposedly came through spirit instruction. The exact engineering mattered, but so did symbolism. This wasn't intended to be simply a better engine. It would represent a new stage in humanity's relationship with both technology and the divine. They built this in Lynn, Massachusetts, before it was moved to High Rock, a hill that was already associated with healing mineral springs and spiritual gatherings. There, surrounded by believers, preparations began for what they considered its true creation, because constructing the machine wasn't enough. It had to be, quote, born. And that's where one of Spear's followers, a woman remembered only by the symbolic title, the New Mary, was chosen to serve as the mechanical Messiah's mother. Historical accounts describe an extended ceremony in which she entered a trance and underwent what participants understood as labor. Witnesses reported breathing exercises, physical exhaustion, emotional intensity, and rituals that deliberately mirrored childbirth. And it wasn't subtle. Humanity, they believed, had once given birth to Christ. Now humanity would give birth to a new Redeemer through electricity.
Huh.
Yeah.
I have to say, I don't entirely understand, but okay.
Well, again, going back to the time, electricity represented possibility itself. No one fully understood where its limits were. Today we know its power. It powers computers and hospitals and global communication. In 1850s, people could reasonably wonder whether it might prove to be something even more fundamental, a hidden force connecting life itself. After hours of ceremony, the machine was declared alive.
How? What happened?
Well, they really don't tell you. Believers claimed they sensed movement and vitality or spiritual presence. Some described subtle responses from the apparatus, but most observers saw an expensive collection of metal parts sitting exactly where it had been assembled. No reliable contemporary account suggests the machine suddenly walked or spoke or performed or did anything, really. The birth was understood primarily in spiritual rather than mechanical terms.
Okay, fair enough.
Speer believed that the new motive power would eventually transform transportation, industry, and civilization. It would eliminate poverty, conflict, and usher humanity into a new era guided by higher intelligence. The machine wasn't simply an invention. It was the first member of what he believed would be a coming generation. And that optimism is strangely familiar. Every generation seems to believe that the next technological breakthrough will solve the deepest problems of civilization. Sometimes it's electricity, sometimes it's radio, nuclear power, today maybe even AI. The technology changes, but the hope doesn't. Unfortunately for Speer, not everyone appreciated the distinction between sacred experiment and dangerous eccentricity. News started getting around about his project, and then, like the mob in Frankenstein, they stormed his workshop and smashed it to pieces.
What?
Yeah.
Like pitchfork style?
Pitchfork style. Accounts suggest portions survived for a time, or that maybe perhaps Speer attempted to preserve or rebuild the elements elsewhere, but historical records show really nothing about that. Exactly what became of the Jesus machine remains uncertain.
That's really rude. Listen, even if you have concerns, that's not your property. We don't Hulk smash things.
Speer himself continued promoting spiritualist ideas for many years, though nothing else quite matched the strange ambition of this project. He died in 1887, still convinced that communication between the worlds was both real and beneficial. It's easy to look at this stuff and kind of dismiss it. From our perspective, it just seems ridiculous.
No.
He's a 19th century kook. But there's another way to see it, too. The new motive power appeared for a moment when humanity had begun creating machines that genuinely seemed almost magical. Telegraphs, carrying invisible messages at impossible speeds. Steam engines replaced animal muscle.
And how many people would have said, like, electricity is kooky, telegraph is a crazy idea, it'll never work?
At the time, the world was changing so quickly that asking whether a machine might one day become something like a living intelligence didn't seem entirely ridiculous.
Sure, it was happening.
They simply imagined a different path to the future than the one that history eventually took. What's especially haunting is how human this whole story is. Beneath it all was this ancient instinct, the desire to create life. It's the same impulse behind myths of golems, Frankenstein's creature, which was published only a few decades before this, and in some ways today the conversation about conscious machines. John Murray Speer believed the future would arrive through séances instead of silicon chips. He was spectacularly wrong about the method. Whether he was wrong about the question is something that we're still debating today.
Sure.
My source information, Spiritualism in Antebellum America by Brett Carroll, and contemporary coverage of these events in the New York Times, 1854-1855.
That kind of stuff is so interesting because, like you said, some of the inventions that came to be seemed like magic.
Oh, absolutely.
So looking back, we might go, yeah, well, good luck with that. But
well, you think of all the things just Edison alone invented. Talking machine, moving pictures, all of that stuff.
yeah, we were looking at Street View the other day, and all I could think was, fucking technology is amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's just Google Maps, my guy.
Hits of the devil, Hulk smash. Well, if you know anything about us, you know that we have weird eyeballs.
We sure do.
And so it's important to us, if we're going to have to wear glasses, to look good.
And you know me, I'm frugalicious. So I will sometimes put off buying new glasses because I don't want to pay for them. But that is not a problem anymore because of Zenni. Zenni is an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30.
And we have just ordered our Zenni glasses.
It was super easy. You go to zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship right to your door.
And they start at under $30.
No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. You don't have to watch someone wait for you trying on glasses.
Over 150,000 five-star reviews. And if you've never bought glasses online before, Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly what your frame is going to look like on your face. Or in my case, my big fat face. What I have found is that I can't wear the round frames. It makes my face look fatter. I wear the rectangular frames that are a little more oblong.
You look beautiful in anything that you put on your face. But Zenni sure does help. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time.
Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order.
The styles do sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15.
Since we moved back from Ecuador, I've stepped up my fashion game. Trying to buy clothes in Ecuador was a challenge for me because everybody's so tiny, you know?
Were known in the neighborhood as being melon head.
But in Spanish.
Cabeza de melón.
So since we've been back, I've been repopulating my wardrobe and updating it, and I've been doing it at Quince, and I love everything they have.
Your blue shorts that you got from Quince, they're just the right length, so you've got a little bit of that Magnum PI thigh going on, but not too much, and they always look good, even if I don't fold them right away. Just stay in the laundry for a while.
Yeah. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat, and those shorts, one of them. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion, without the traditional retail markup.
I have a perfect linen dress that I got from Quince because it is lightweight, it's breathable, it looks good. I just keep reaching for it in my closet.
You get quality, you get affordability, and they also have bedding and bath products.
Quince isn't just clothes. But man, do I love their clothes.
Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/oddities for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada too.
Yee.
That's QUINCE.com/oddities for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/oddities.
And now, that thing in the middle. Welcome, dear thrill seekers, to the Sweeney Todd of horticulture, the poison gardens of Alnwick. Nestled in the heart of Northumberland, this sinister sanctuary hosts over 100 deadly plants, each more lethal than the last. Here, the gardener's motto is, if you touch, you just might forget your own name, or possibly stop breathing. Housed behind black iron gates, warning signs litter the landscape, reminding visitors to not so much as breathe too deeply when near certain specimens. There's deadly nightshade and a strychnine tree. But it's not all doom and gloom. The Duchess of Northumberland opened this lethal labyrinth in 2005, intending it to be an educational experience, albeit one that might kill you. So if you fancy flirting with danger or yearn for a botanical Game of Thrones, visit Alnwick Poison Garden, where some plants are so poisonous, they're grown inside cages. So don't sniff the flowers too closely. It might just be the last thing you do.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Cocktails up here feel just right. Is Cambria amazing? All right. Bring a date, your team, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com. See you on the roof.
It's important to remember, always wear sunscreen, stay hydrated, and keep this device in your bag at all times. This is where I'd normally insert a joke, but my 10-minute break just started, so write one yourself. This is the Box of Oddities.
Picture the Florida Keys.
Okay.
A line of islands stretching more than 100 miles into the Gulf and Atlantic, where the water is so clear you can see coral gardens from the surface. About 6 miles south of Big Pine Key sits Looe Key Reef, part of the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, and home to the only living coral barrier reef in the continental U.S. It's one of the most biodiverse places in North America, and once a year, it becomes maybe one of the strangest concert venues. Last weekend marked the 42nd annual Lower Keys Underwater Music Festival. Hundreds of divers and snorkelers descended onto the reef while music was broadcast through specialized underwater speakers suspended beneath boats above them.
Is this good for the reef?
Apparently, they love it.
Well,
Who knows? Around them swarm mermaids, pirates, and musicians pretending to play whimsical sea creature instruments with names like the trombone fish, the baratuba, and the flukelele.
but don't play it too loud. You'll give me a headache.
The playlist includes ocean-themed classics like Yellow Submarine, Fins, and Octopus's Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Attendance is always off the scales. It sounds ridiculous, and it absolutely is, but the silliness is really just the bait. The festival was created in 1985 with a surprisingly serious mission to get people to fall in love with the reef so they'd want to protect it. Between songs, divers hear conversations and messages reminding them not to stand on coral, to use mooring buoys instead of dropping anchors, and to respect the marine life around them. Festival co-founder Bill Becker has always said that the more people who experience the reef, the more likely they are to fight for its survival. So yeah, there are people playing imaginary fish instruments, but beneath the surface, there's a much deeper message. And that message is incredibly important, maybe more so now than ever. Coral reefs occupy less than 1% of the ocean floor, but they're home to roughly a quarter of all marine species at some point in their lives. They're often called the rainforests of the sea because of the incredible biodiversity that they support. They also protect coastlines from storm surge, support fisheries, and contribute billions of dollars to tourism and recreation. And that's why people in Looe Key are willing to dive headfirst into conservation.
Uh-huh. I never would have fathomed.
Squid.
Spid squeezies.
Now, one of my favorite things about coral is that it's easy to forget that it is a living thing. It's not rock.
Right.
Coral is actually a colony of tiny animals called polyps, and each of them is about the size of a pencil eraser. They build limestone skeletons beneath themselves, and over centuries, sometimes millennia, those skeletons become the massive reefs that we see today. But coral has roommates. Inside each polyp live microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. The algae uses sunlight to produce food through photosynthesis, sharing most of that energy with the coral. And in return, the coral gives the algae a safe place to live and nutrients to survive. It's one of nature's symbiotic partnerships. Now, when the water gets too warm or polluted, that relationship breaks down. The coral expels the algae, revealing the white limestone beneath. That's called coral bleaching. Bleached coral isn't dead, but it is starving. If stressful conditions don't improve, then it dies. It's one of those relationships where if one of the roommates moves out, everybody suffers. Now, Looe Key has long been considered one of the healthiest reefs in the Florida Keys, but like reefs around the world, it's faced outbreaks of disease, bleaching events, warming oceans, pollution, and physical damage from anchors and careless divers. That's why education has become just as important as restoration. So, what are we doing about it? Well, scientists are growing coral in underwater nurseries in an effort to repopulate. They're even experimenting with breeding heat-resistant varieties, so continued climate change won't kill them off. But this goofy little concert has become one of conservation's most successful awareness campaigns. And why wouldn't it be? Even if you're kind of meh about coral, which you shouldn't be, but if you are kind of meh about coral. Coral! It's still fun. You still get to see a babe in a shell bikini.
Playing a banjo shaped like a trout.
Yeah, that's a good time right there.
Of course, trout would not be native to a coral reef. That's a funny sounding fish name.
Trout is a great word.
And you pair it with banjo. That's hilarious. Banjo trout.
Banjo trout. Oh, it's a great name for a band.
Yes, it is.
Opening this weekend for Lion to the Dying. Banjo trout. It sounds like Tedeschi trucks.
Okay.
Well, in the way that, you know how banjo trout is pleasing?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. Tedeschi trucks is too. Tedeschi trucks. It's fun to say. It pleases the ear. Say it. Say it.
Tedeschi trucks. Yeah, no. Banjo trout sounds like, I don't know, a musician from Louisiana, like Trombone Shorty.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is sometimes the best way to make waves is with music and a reason to party. Anyway, I got most of my information from visitfloridakeys.com, the Lower Keys Chamber of Commerce, and the Keys Weekly. Now we're about a year away from the next one, but I definitely want to go.
I'm 100% in. Maybe we can finally use our scuba gear that we bought 5 years ago and have never used.
Be nice.
Yeah, it would be. We've gone as far as to take it with us on several cruises and never used it. So if you'd like to buy some new scuba gear.
No, I need it for my choral concert.
Coral. TheBoxOfOddities.com. Thanks for hanging out with us.
You are the best.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep flying that freak flag.
Fly it proudly, you banjo trout.
And so, let it be known that the Box of Oddities belongs to you, and its fate is in your hands. Therefore, it's been requested by those to whom I report to beseech you for assistance. We ask but one thing of you, to provide a 5-star rating and a positive review. True, that is 2 things. However, 'tis merely a 5-star rating and a positive review. Also, subscribe to us. Okay, so 3 things is all we ask. 3 things and 3 things only. Henceforth, the Box of Oddities commits to the telling of stories. Stories of the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. We wish to offer our deeply felt gratitude and appreciation for your patronage. TheBoxOfOddities.com. Copyright 2026, all rights reserved.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Hey there, I'm Travis Hoyam, one of the hosts of Motley Fool Hidden Gems Investing. Each weekday on Motley Fool Hidden Gems Investing, we talk through the business news you need to know and the stories moving stocks on Wall Street. On weekends, we game plan personal finance strategies and dive into the industries shaping tomorrow and host the experts, authors, and executives that understand them. Tune in for insights and a long-term perspective on investing and, of course, stock ideas, plenty of them. To quote a listener, it pays to listen. Check us out and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.